everyone and welcome to the GameFace MPNFL Netball show. Throughout the week we actually had a chance to catch up with Sam Downey, our Netball Operations Manager, so you'll get to see that in the show later tonight. We also will go through our usual segments including the Swordfish, Wine Bar and Tapas Award of the Round and our Rumour File. So let's jump straight to it with a look at last week's results. What can you tell us from Div 2, Christy?
Okay, well, last week with Division 2, this is actually where we caught up with some of the games that were originally played over Easter, which is fantastic. So the
evens out the ladder a bit.
It is evening it out a little bit. Some of the key call-outs that I saw from the round just played is Langwarrin in A grade. They had a really quite a big win against Red Hill. And they are just powering along. So they've moved up now, I think, to third in the ladder.
Wow.
And so they're really, in contention, I think, for some finals action. And the other game was the game versus Chelsea versus Somerville, where Somerville, as we know, doing quite well in the B grade over previous years. And Chelsea really pushed the team. So at half time, Summy was 6 goals down.
Oof.
I think coming back on, Chelsea then scored the next 4 or 5.
Wow.
So we're pushing out to
a big deficit.
a 10-goal deficit there. And then Somerville, with some changes that were made, so some great coaching on the sidelines there, have been able to turn it around the second half and came away with a 20-goal win.
That's amazing.
So it was,
what a great game to watch too.
Yeah, and it was in pretty poor conditions. The weather wasn't fantastic last weekend, but probably the first game that we've had so far this winter that has been ordinary, so we can't complain.
Yes, can't be
they
too
were
bad.
some of the two of the games that I'd call out. So good to see the parity within the ladder now.
Fantastic.
And what about you and Division 1? What's going on?
Div 1, we actually had a few upsets on the weekend, which was really interesting to see. I think somewhat unexpectedly in A grade, our girls at EDS came up with a draw against Mornington.
Oh.
So Mornington were, as we know, sitting on top of the ladder, and they are now bumped down to second. Rosebud had a win, so they've come up into first position.
That tight.
And Mornington are second by those 2 points because they've had a draw instead of a win. So and EDS now I think are up into fourth. So that was a very big result for our girls.
I just can't believe how tight it is in that division.
It is crazy, isn't it? We also had an unexpected win in B grade. So Dramana came up with the win against Rosebud. So Dramana was sitting 7th on the ladder and Rosebud 3rd. So that's a massive win for those guys.
Okay.
And we know Rosebud's very strong across all grades, so that would have been a big win for those guys on that day. C grade, we saw another unexpected result for Bombeach versus Bombers. The Bombers were sitting in 8th and Bombeach in 3rd in C grade, and Bombers have come away with a 5-point win.
Oh, I'm sure they would have been wrapped down
Yeah, they would have had a great afternoon, I'm sure. So that was really big. And also, my girls in my team, we actually lost to Mornington on the weekend as well. So they came away with a 1-point win. And again, I think we were down by 6 or 7 at one stage in the third quarter. So we did really well to try to fight back.
Yep.
But the Mornington girls were just too strong. So they held out for a 1-point win. So that sort of solidifies their position in the top as well because they're sitting in fourth.
If you had have had a 5th quarter, do you think you would have kept going? Or?
Oh, look, I don't know. It was such a tough... Every quarter was actually really tough, a tough game. So they started really well, jumped out of the blocks on us, and they just maintained that intensity. So I don't know. I feel like it would have been close the whole way. So, it really was that kind of game that it could have gone either way, I think. So
often I feel like when momentum's going, if they just kept going...
Yeah, we needed maybe 5 more minutes.
You might have been able to get across the line.
I wish, but no. We'll have to reset for next week. So, so it was actually a really interesting round for us and a few ladder position changes as well. So, so it was really great. Moving on now to the Swordfish, Wine Bar and Tapas game of the round, we were actually looking in D grade, Bombeach versus Frankston Bombers. So that was 7th versus 8th. So that was a really, really great game. What can you tell us about it, Chrissy?
So, you're right. Bombers were sitting in 7th position, just 1 game out of the top 5. So, obviously very close there in that division. And Bombeach just below them in 8th. So, Bombeach came out firing in the first quarter. And with a change in the goaler in the second quarter, they built on their lead and just kept going along with that. So Bombeach secured themselves in the end a 14-goal win over the Bombers, with the final score being 35-21. So that now sees Bombeach in 7th and Frankston Bombers in 8th. So a bit of a role swap there. but it's only by percentage, so it is super tight.
It's very tight in that D grade
Yeah,
ends for sure.
So, but for the Swordfish Player of the Round, we couldn't go past Bomb Beach goaling superstar, and that was Michelle Rickards, who shot 21 goals for the game, which is a massive effort. So Michelle was strong in the ring, reliable, target for Bomb Beach for the entire game, and so she was awarded the Player of the Round.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Michelle.
Well done.
Make sure you contact Trish at Swordfish Wine Bar and Tapas to claim your prize. So up next, we've got our chat with Sam Downey, who we caught up with earlier in the week. So let's have a look at how that went. We're pleased to be joined by Sam Downey from the MPNFL. Sam is the Netball Operations Manager for the league and is in her second year in this role. Sam, can you start us off by getting started with a general overview of how the netball is taking off this year, and then we'll hit you with hard questions.
Yeah, no worries. No, the season's so far, so we're just over halfway for the season so far, which has been really good. Some really close games, especially throughout the first, round 10, 11 coming up. Yeah, so we've had our split to divide for the finals coming up, so we've got that difference in finals across the two divisions. But no, the season seems to be going really well, so it's all really exciting, I think.
Fantastic.
It's never been closer, so
No.
you be happy with that.
Yeah, especially being in my second season now as well. No, it all seems to be really good. Really good, atmosphere in the group with the clubs, and no, it all seems to be going well.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, I'll just let you know that we have put a message out to the netballers.
I did see a few come through.
With the league. So we have got a few questions that have come in. So we've grouped them together.
Yep.
And we're going to start off with the questions. Those little precious goalers that we have, all interested to know about what's going on with the sharpshooter.
Yep.
So let me ask you, who counts the goals?
That would be me. Yep, so that's my job. As long as the score sheets are correct, so when they come in on a Monday, that's my job. So I tally them all up based on their positions that are put on the score sheets. So say for instance, you play goal shooter for a half, goal attack for a half. It's your goal shooter half goals, and then your goal attack ones for that match. So that's how they tell it up. So I'm there counting every Monday morning and putting them in the
wish
system.
that was going to be digitalised someday.
Yes, that would be great. Doesn't take too long, as long as my math's pretty good and it equals up to the total in the bottom. So,
brilliant.
Yeah, no.
So I think that the question that was probably asked because they were thinking that maybe it wasn't carried across, and that if they changed your positions that those weren't. So we can put that to rest.
Yes, put that to rest. No, I individually put in those scores for each quarter.
Okay, now what about players that are taking the court across multiple grades?
Yep.
Do those goals follow them through to their end result, or what happens with that?
No, it'll stay within that particular grade. So when I do it, it's per game and per grade. It's not actually by the particular player, even though the goals go by the particular player, but it's for that grade. So, yeah, it remains within the grade.
So you could see some players that are showing up, probably particularly early in the season, as a sharpshooter across multiple grades, but as they get locked in, no longer able to probably shoot from there and move on.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go on with the, another key topic that we're always talking about, which is the premium player rule that's affected our league this year. So how has that been received by the league, do you think?
Yep. Well, for the clubs, I guess it was a bit of a mixed result. Even though it was voted in by the clubs, we have had, I wouldn't say teething issues throughout the season, but there's definitely a lot of things that we can develop around that particular rule going forward. So what it is now at the moment will obviously stay for the remainder of the season, and it is a pretty straightforward rule. But yeah, going forward, and we've discussed, and you could probably enlighten on this a little bit more, but we have discussed, I've received club feedbacks around that particular rule, and then we will review that as a group to implement further changes or developments to that particular rule, whether we stay with a premium player rule, whether we look at a player point system, salary cap, that type of thing. It's going to be a club involvement. So to get that right for the seasons going forward. So we will still have a rule around equalisation. What that looks like going forward, I can't answer because we want to work together as a group.
I was about to ask you, what is your gut feel around what it's going to be moving forward? Have you got
I like the premium player rule
as it stands currently.
With some
Minor
changes,
adjustments maybe.
minor adjustments, just to help with. Does it go by how many quarters they've actually played to then classify them as a premium player? Does it only is it only around the seasons prior, not the current season that they're in, if they're a VNL player? So there are a lot of areas that we can look into, but again, it'll be a club involvement and get it right for the 2020 season.
Is this something that all clubs will contribute towards defining those rules, or are we looking to maybe get a working group together? How do we move forward?
Yeah, I'm open up with to a working group, particularly around the ones that have probably got a little bit more knowledge around, say, that VNL level, how that might look like moving into our league, because we've got a strong league. We can all say that we've got a really strong league. There's a lot of brilliant players out there, and we want to keep those players in there, but we also want to just equal out both of the divisions, particularly when the divisions are. Obviously, you've got to follow your football. So, the top teams or the top clubs are a mixture across both of the divisions. And, we just want to try and equalise that out a little bit more, but still have those players within the competition.
Is there any examples of where this is working in other leagues that you're aware of that we can adopt some rules that they're using? Are you?
There really isn't any other rules around premium players or competition equalisation, to my knowledge. I think we are one of the first that are really bringing it in. Whether other leagues then look into it, and I've have previously been involved with another league where. It was literally just dominated by VNL players and clubs, and the club that I was involved with were really struggling to do that, and they just couldn't field that top side anymore. So, again, we want to keep those players within the competition, just how that looks like across all of our clubs. We'll definitely work as a working group, and do we bring in a working group? That's something that we can definitely look at too.
I think every week we talk about the results of the games throughout each round, and the games just seem to be closer now than they ever been before. We are continually talking about even the amount of draws that are being played.
It is,
That's right. So,
and I want to look. The rule is definitely assisting with that, but I also want to put it out there that I think clubs are doing a lot more work, and it comes down to the coaches, the development of their players. They're doing a lot more work, and I want to give them a lot more credit around that. That it does take time to build a team, to work with your players, develop your players, and I think the clubs have been able to do that over a couple of seasons to then get to this point. So I really want to put that out there that clubs are doing a lot more around that particular space, give credit to your coaches and then the hard work that the players are putting in. And this is going back to like Supercorp netball, like you throw in say the Magpies, Collingwood Magpies, you put in a brilliant 7 on court, but they may not have played or developed together as a team and they didn't get the results. Where then on the flip side, New South Wales Swifts, they've had those 3 seasons together and they're on top of the ladder at the moment, and they're bringing in training partners that have been there consistently with the club and working with those players, and that does take time. So I think clubs are now at that point where they've taken that time, they've had those few seasons together, and now they're at that point where they're really competitive.
Yeah, we've definitely got examples of that.
It's very exciting.
So moving on now, we've got some questions come through about umpires. So we want to know, will the league look at implementing a compulsory umpire pool and get rid of club umpires altogether?
Well, we're not that I'm working directly with, but there is the Peninsula Netball Umpires Association that I believe is servicing about 16, 17 of our clubs with their B&A grade umpires, and that seems to be working really well. So I'll continue to work with them, and we might get something together as a whole.
A little more official, perhaps.
A bit more official, and then look to obviously service the 22 clubs that we do have. So yes, I definitely want to get to to that point. And I know how hard it is to search for umpires and what the
Seems to be an every week battle
and
sometimes.
the umpires that they've got already are a really good standard.
Yeah, and I think we want to
umpires.
maintain that standard for our league because you know we
that's
are
right.
a good league,
essential
and
for the competition to remain as strong as it is.
I agree.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep. And so that's developed, and I think something that's has been developed so well, who's got a really good group of umpires. We will work with what they've got, and we'll just work together more as their association and within the league.
Beautiful.
So on the flip side, Sam, if we come across maybe a umpire that's maybe not as high quality as we would hope, what's the avenue for that to be addressed?
Yep. So what they also do as well, and this is going back to the Peninsula Netball Umpires Association, is they've got mentors that are going out there. So if there is an umpire that we might need to work with to be looked at, to be trained a little bit more, we can definitely get in touch with them, and then and then they could probably go out and do some mentoring and work and have a look at that particular umpire. Unfortunately, I couldn't go out there. Even though I'm an umpire, I'm not at that standard to be able to go out and mentor these particular umpires. So if they've got that in place and they're currently doing that already, we just address it to the league or them if you've got a relationship with them and you're getting your umpires through them. Just address it and we can work with that way, because that has been addressed to the league that they're wanting to train their umpires up a little bit more, giving them those avenues, obviously go for their badge, that type of thing. So
brilliant. Okay, so not everybody from the club contact the league. There are already issues.
One representative.
That's right.
Through to the club president and get in touch with Sam or directly with the umpires.
That would be great.
And lastly, around the umpires, how do you select the umpires for finals?
Yeah, so they will be, even though you guys have probably had some of the umpires on at your games through the PUNA, I've actually doing the umpire allocations for the finals, just like I did last year, and bringing in a few independent umpires as well. So it will be a mixture across both divisions. I've actually just finished the allocations for that now. Have to get on it early to lock these umpires in so they're not snatched up by another league. That comes down to me and do those allocations, and the umpires that we've got on there.
Are we looking at a minimum grade level for the badged umpire?
Yeah, it's B grade.
Brilliant. Yep. Fantastic.
B badged, I should say.
Good to hear.
Excellent.
All right. So, next topic.
Yep.
Are you right? You ready?
Yes.
Okay. Let's
All
move
good.
on. Let's move on to finals.
Yes.
So very contentious this year with the change from to a top 4 to a top 5.
Yes.
So with the Division 2 final now being moved to the Saturday, is that likely to go to a neutral venue, or is that going to be still held at an FDNA or Mornington Peninsula Netball Association, or what are we looking at for that?
Well, with the 2 grand finals both being on a Saturday, so Division 1 will be the following Saturday. Yes. That cancels out the association, so Mornington and FDNA.
Both booked for their junior comp?
Yeah, for their junior comp. So we have put out the tender for clubs to host the netball grand finals, because the football will be at Frankston Park.
Yes.
So it gives the opportunity for clubs to host the grand finals at their club venue. Whether we do the flip, whether we can get a Division 1 that might not possibly be in finals to host the Division 2, and vice versa. To make it at a neutral venue.
Yeah, neutral place. Yeah.
So we're currently in the process of doing those tenders with our clubs to finalise those venues across all of the final series.
Interesting topic, because we talk about whether it's a neutral ground. I just feel like a netball court's a netball court.
That's right. It's not a football where one size is a bit smaller than the other. Or,
you get used to playing the certain corners.
I don't like playing with chains on the net, so I prefer to have,
Do we have chains anymore? I love chains.
I'm a little bit the same around. A netball court is a netball court. It's the same size no matter where you go. Yes, the surface might be a little bit different, but we will work with the clubs, but there is that opportunity for the Saturday ones to be at a club venue.
Fantastic. Okay. And how about the top 5 finals? That's been a change this year. How do you think that's been received, Sam?
Again, like the premium one, probably a bit of a mix, but bringing in that competition equalisation rule around the premier players, or to assist with that, it was a good opportunity to then bring in the top 5. And we can see across both of the divisions that we do have literally a 5 and a 6. Well, there could be 6
bit of a
teams.
split.
Yeah, 6 teams fighting for those top 5s. And to get it aligned with the football as much as possible as well, I think it's going to be a really good final series. I think there's going to be a few upsets. I'm just putting that out there. I reckon there might be a couple of
Certainly
upsets.
building that way.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I'm really excited, and I think for the standalone grand finals, I think it's going to be a really good final series. I'm excited, and I know, it's not the uptake. I can't please everyone, unfortunately. That's
true.
just the thing. We can't please everyone. But we're getting there, and if we can pull it off this year, it can go on. But these
I was going to say, do you think it will stay or do you think it will change?
I think it will stay, and that's probably just me talking out there, but it's a bylaw, and a bylaw can change on going seasons. So I'm not saying that it's going to stay, it's locked in, it's got to stay. We'll see, obviously, how this year goes. And then if we've got to go back to a top 4, if that's what the clubs want, then I'm happy to take it back to a top 4. But I think the top 5 is going to be very exciting.
Excellent.
So who's our local council members, and when are we going to get a court down at Frankston Park?
We actually talked about looking to hire
A portable court?
Yeah, portable court. Where would we put it? I don't know, but we looked at hiring a portable court. If we win that 80 million tonight,
yes.
I'll build you one down there for the finals.
Brilliant. So we've got that now recorded. Fantastic. All right. Now, one of the questions that I think comes through most commonly is around how many games to be locked for in a particular team, how many games you've got to play to qualify for finals.
Yep.
Can you kind of work us through a scenario there that would make it easier for everyone to understand?
Yep.
And
Yep. So you have to play finals, you have to play at least 8 for your club. Now, to be locked into a particular grade throughout the season, once you've played your 6th, you're locked into that grade, but can then play any grade higher. So, say for instance, I've played my 6th game in C grade, I can then play C, B and A going forward. Can't play D, I can't go down. Come into finals though, for that same particular player, so I've locked in for C grade, I've played my 6th there. It still allows me to go forward and play finals for B or A on the day. So players can still play 2 finals matches on throughout the finals series.
maximum of 2 games?
Maximum of 2, can't play any more than 2. It's written there, in the rules. So can't play any more than 2. So the change that we also had this year is that they have to play at least 6 for that grade, or at least the lowest grade to be qualified for that grade's finals.
So that prevents someone from playing 2 games in C grade, 2 games in B grade, 2 games in A grade.
Yep. 2 in D.
So D as well. So we've made the 8.
Yep.
But I'm not locked into any club, any grade.
Yep.
Sorry. But now you haven't played enough to play finals.
So in that particular scenario, she's played 2 in each of the grades. So she's played at 8 throughout the year. Last year it just allowed me to play any grade within the finals. But this year, if I want to play D grades finals, I need to have played my minimum of 6 to play in D grades final and still be able to play up.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that should cover
it, yes.
Just to clarify, Sam, as well, you can play 2 grades up, is that right? So if you qualify in D, you can play up to B grade?
Up to B grade,
Yes.
that's right.
Yep.
So it's 2 grades higher. I can't go to A, that's the 3.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, Sam, for joining us. It's been great to hear.
Those questions weren't actually too
bad. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Before we wrap it up, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about for the second half of the season? Anything we can look forward to? Anything exciting with awards nights? Anything
I think the games are just going to continue as is. I think we're still going to see a lot of close matches. Those clubs, particularly who are fighting for those final spots, I think they're really going to put everything out there and secure their spot in finals. Again, we're just over the halfway mark.
Starts to get a bit serious now.
Yeah, it is. It's starting to get a little bit serious. So, it all looks good, and I think, we're going to have a good finish.
And are you willing to give us a tip for the A grade flag in both divisions at the halfway point?
I think I gave these tips at the beginning of the year.
Are you sticking with them, or are we...
I will. No, I'll stick with them. I said
Division 1?
Division 1 Sorrento,
Okay. And what about Division 2?
Crib Point. So I went on the flip of the results from last year.
Yes.
So both of them made the grand final, and both
So you're going
came
for the
runners up.
underdogs?
Yeah, I'll go for
A
the
little bit hungry
underdogs.
to come back and take
Yes.
the flag.
Yeah, so I'll remain with my tips. But yeah, I think. But in saying that as well, I reckon there's going to be a few upsets.
Yeah, I definitely think they'll be in contention. We'll wait to see whether they're the ones who are holding the flag at the end of the year.
Yeah, I'm pretty useless at doing my tips anyway, so just look at me on the footy tip and I'm not that good.
Well, I'd hope that you know a little bit more about netball than you do about football.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see, but thank you so much for joining us
No
today.
worries, thanks for having me.
All right, so now it's time for next Netflix and skills. Let's have a look at what we've got on this week.
Fantastic. So first up, we've got Bomb Beach's Teresa Blau celebrating her 50th game milestone with this great shot of her going through the banner. Isn't that a good one? Perfectly timed.
I can't believe they've actually got a banner for their 50th game. I'd be up with the crepe paper for days on end with the amount of 50th games we've got this week.
That's very true.
All right, and so following on from last week, we've got another player question that's come in through to us to put into this segment. Oh, it's a tough one.
Okay.
So the question is, if a player has a dress that's too short, maybe a bit too tight, or potentially their bike shorts.
You can see what they had for breakfast, as my mother would say.
Yes, and maybe a little inappropriate. How do we address it?
Oh, that's a great question, because how do you address that? You can't just go up and tell the person, can you? That's a bit awkward.
Well, can you not?
I don't know. Well, maybe it depends on the relationship you've got with them.
Do we need to? What about the parents who come along to the games? Do they need to be addressing this with their daughters, potentially?
I know my mother would never let me out of the house like that.
So, unfortunately, I have seen it around the courts too often. But I'd be interested to know.
Does it go into the uniform bylaws, maybe?
Yeah.
The length of dresses, like at school. You had to measure the length of your dress.
We didn't ask Sam when she was in here early this week, so maybe we should have. We need to have
write that on the list for next time.
The high school policy of is your dress coming down to your back of your knee. So we'd be interested to know whether your club has a policy to address it. Whose responsibility is it? To maybe is it a coach's responsibility? Is it the club president? Is it the
player looking in the mirror before you go to the game, or
do we need to put our hands up and see where your dress falls?
Yes,
because we know
you don't play netball like this. You do play netball up here, so
occasionally the hands go up in the air. So, all right, so let's talk about it.
I would like to hear what you guys think. So definitely drop us a comment or inbox the page if you've seen it. If it's you,
you're going to own it. If you like playing netball that way. So let's see how we go with that one.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thanks guys for sending in your contributions. We definitely want to see some more, so don't forget to send us your photos and videos from during the week. The good, the bad, and the ugly, and the funny. So moving on to our next segment, the much anticipated rumour file. What have we got this week, Christy?
Let's see what we have. It's good. I'm glad that there's actually something in here this week.
That's a relief.
So that is a good step. All right. Division 1. Which premium player departure has occurred due to club politics?
Ooh. That's not a good at this time of the season, is it?
It's not good. I actually feel like I know potentially who this is.
Ooh.
And it's sad that, we're potentially losing players of the quality that you must be to be deemed a premium player, just due to politics. So I really hope that the Division 1 club that relates to can sort it out, iron things out,
get them back.
and get them back out onto the court because, you know what, leave politics to the side and let's just play some netball.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Yes.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah. Our number one coaching call at Somerville in the A grade at the moment is we're just here for a run around. We don't play for the Australian side and we're not...
Not for sheep stations?
We're not playing for sheep stations. So, let's just go out there and play netball. So hopefully they can rectify that. And Division 2, what has it got here? Which Division 2 player was injured over the weekend and is now out for the season?
Oh, that's hard this time of year as well, isn't it? Just as you're building into the finals. That's
really
not good.
hard. So we never wish injuries on anyone. So if that's you, the Division 2 player, we wish you all the best and a speedy recovery. And look forward to seeing you back out on court, whoever you may be.
Fantastic. So thanks, guys, for sending those through. And let's have a look now at what we've got coming up tomorrow. What did you see in Div 2 coming up tomorrow, Christy?
All right, the big game that I see coming up tomorrow will be the Langwarrin versus Tyab game. So like I said, Langwarrin just seems to be on a roll currently. So just steamrolling. Red Hill is a really quality side, and they had a significant margin against them. And Tyab, who losing this game may potentially fall out of touch with finals come August, September. So I think there's a lot on the line. Langwarrin's going to really want to consolidate that they're meeting business this year, and Tyab really wanting to stay in touch. So yeah, really good game there. And the other game that I'm going to call out is the C grade game, Crib Point versus Chelsea. So 4th versus 3rd, Crib Point's home game. And
Both been very strong sides this year already, haven't they?
Yeah. So I think that will be a really good game. Chelsea and Crib Point both really consistent across all grades. So, could potentially be about who they've got lining up, what the weather's like, but that should be a really good game.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And what about you over in Div 1?
Div 1, we've got a couple of interesting ones. In the B grade, we've got Mount Eliza versus Sorrento is 6th versus 4th, but there's only one game separating them on the ladder. So
I was going to say the top almost 7 or 8.
Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. So that may determine some position swaps as well on the ladder, depending on how that result goes. And we've got the same thing in C grade. Rosebud versus Bomb Beach is now 4th versus 5th. So again, they've got one game separating them as well. So with Bomb Beach's lost last week, they'll want to come back from that. And as we know, Rosebud are very strong, so that will be a tough tussle.
Yep.
I actually think in A grade as well, EDS are versing Pines. So EDS sitting in 4th and Pines sitting in 6th. I think it's a bit of a danger game for our girls as well, because Pines are always very strong. So
yeah, flying under the radar. So we'll see what happens with that one.
Absolutely.
Definitely some good netball out there this week. It's been a very chilly week in Melbourne, so let's hope it's not too cold.
Yeah,
at
some sunshine
the courts,
is nice.
Tomorrow. Let's see how we go. All right, so our swordfish game of the round, let's talk about who we're going to nominate for that game this week. So we're going to go back to the under-17s, and we're going to look at the game between Seaford and Devon Meadows 2. I think it will be an absolute cracker. So let's see who wins that, and who is best on will win the GameFace swordfish game of the round. So
Fantastic.
We'll be watching. I've got a special notice for tonight's show. So we want to give a shout out to a milestone player who tomorrow will celebrate their 100th game. So this particular person in 2010 was the B grade premiership player.
Right.
In 2011 was the A grade runner-up in the Peninsula League. 2012, B grade premiership player.
Sounding slightly familiar.
2013, B grade premiership player. 2015, coach of the D grade premiership. 2016 might have had to take a year off.
I did have, yes, perhaps.
And 2017 was the D grade runner-up Peninsula League.
Yes.
Is it sounding familiar?
Yes, it really is. It sounds like my rap sheet.
So congratulations.
Thanks, I didn't even know. So that's great news for me.
We thought we would surprise you. And I believe that the club hasn't even informed you yet that tomorrow is
Helen's
the milestone,
being cheeky.
milestone game. So we wanted to get in there first.
Oh, thank you.
So congratulations.
Thanks.
It's a fantastic milestone.
It's a long time
to reach,
coming.
especially considering that you have done that around having children.
A couple of babies in there as well, yeah. So it's been a busy 10 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Out of all, that's a pretty impressive, like you said, rap sheet.
Thanks.
Is there anything in that stands out to you?
Oh, look, early days, I think that that B grade premiership in 2012, I remember I was captaining that year, and the defender I was defending with went down with an ACL in the finals. Ooh. So we actually missed her for the grand final. So it was a massive year, and it was a really, really tough game. So for us to stand up and win that one, I was really proud of our girls that day. So that's definitely a defining moment, I think.
So that was one
career.
of your teammates that had done the ACL leading into the finals.
Yep.
So you were a man down
Yep.
and was still able
And,
to
and
come
it was her and I in defence in the goal circle all year. So it was a big change come finals time. So that was a big thing to overcome.
Yeah, that's massive. So, yeah, big achievement
It
for
was,
that,
yeah,
but also
yeah.
all the other things that
Yeah, well,
that
now
you've
it's just
accomplished.
coming back after babies and you know, and just playing it all is makes me pretty happy. So.
And I think, and I'll call it out, you should be really proud too that you're a one club player. So you've stuck with EDS the
Yeah,
entire
loyalty
way
is a big
through.
thing for me. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm glad that we were able to surprise you.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this? I don't know what this is. Oh, you're funny.
All right, so tomorrow, while we're doing some shout-outs, tomorrow we also see Rosebud Football Netball Club celebrate a decade of netball in the MPNFL as they host their Past Players Day and 10-year premiership reunion. So Rosebud won the inaugural Netball Division Premiership back in 2009, and it's fantastic to see them acknowledging that and celebrating 10 years of netball in the MPNFL.
Fantastic.
So
Well done,
we've
girls.
come a long way in a short time, and to think that how strong our competition is now, and that potentially they might be up there for contention for
Absolutely,
that
they
10-year
will.
anniversary.
Yeah. Scary. A little bit of motivation for them there too.
We hope you have a great day celebrating Rosebud. I'm sure you will.
Fantastic. We also want to give a shout out and thanks to our sponsor Swordfish Wine Bar and Tapas in Mornington. They've been fantastic with their support down there for an award every week recognising a great player. So thank you very much, Trish, and make sure you guys head down there and check them out.
Yeah, check them down at Main Street in Mornington. All right, so we are also super thankful to our official apparel partner, Swibs Locker, who have decked us
Our new
out
shirts.
in our new, I know, I'm appreciating the colours.
Yeah.
So a bit of Somerville colours there. So if you're considering new dresses for next year or even just netball trip tops, make sure that you see Ryan and the team at Swibs Locker.
Fantastic. And of course, a big thanks to our friends at Frankie Media who can sort you out with all your business needs and print and promotional supplies. If you need roll-up banners, check out frankiemedia.com.au.
Awesome.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Okay,
See you next week.
fantastic. Cheers.
Cheers.